A video welcome to Word at Noon. My name is Remy Allen. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has expressed concern over the zoning formula of the All Progressives Congress for the leadership positions in the 10th National Assembly. Governor Akeredolu, who described the arrangements as skewed and a reinforcement of injustice and inequality, said the zoning formula is an attempt to buy a few individuals with eyes on Osrc power buttons in Bola Tinubu's administration to cause disunity. The chairman of the Southern Governors Forum said zoning positions of two presiding officers at the National Assembly to the northwest at the detriment of the north central is tantamount to punishing the north central for its loyalty to the party. Akeredolu said the zoning announcement by the National Working Committee without the input of the Progressives Governors Forum is a dangerous tool for the opposition, hence unacceptable. The Ondo State headsman advised the APC National Working Committee to immediately summon the National Executive Committee after robust National Caucus and Stakeholders Parley to agree on terms that will strengthen our great party. The Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps, has arrested two persons who allegedly disguised as madmen to commit crimes. The duo were paraded alongside 24 other suspects for kidnapping, attempted murder, stealing and assault committed in different parts of the state. Osrc's Zaid Aribisala reports that Amotekun Commander Adetunji Adeleye urged residents to be conscious of suspicious movements and avail same to security agencies.
This middle-aged man comes across as a madman. But beyond the looks and unintelligible words, the Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps, has apprehended him for allegedly disguising to gather information and aid criminal activities.
Upon further interrogation, we found out that he was actually reporting movement to some people. But when we try to make him mention the names of those people, he will start coughing. And we are working on the call list now.
Another middle-aged man who allegedly killed his landlord under the pretense of being mad was also arrested. Aside the two individuals, 24 other persons were paraded for crimes ranging from kidnapping, attempted murder, burglary, stealing of electric alternator, assault, among others. Amotekun Commander Adetunji Adeleye said one of the suspected kidnapper abducted a businessman in the Mowe axis of Ogun State and allegedly killed the victim.
My gang leader, where is calling Blessing, it is him that said that this man that's coming, say in the cell land for us, he may just arrest him. Along the processing, now within ourselves, now the gun just talk.
The gun just talk.
Now the gun just talk the pay.
The gun just talk and scatter the man.
Sir.
So we are set to hand over the suspect who had been on the wanted list of Ogun State Police to the police command of Ogun State any moment from now.
The security chief said efforts were ongoing to rid the state's forest of criminals.
We also want to let the public know that it's time for them to be wary of those that pretend to be mad people, where on searching these mad people we find iPhones, expensive phones, and we find out that majority of them only pretend to be mad in order to gather informations in the particular area where they intend to operate. I want the general public to be wary of such, and if they notice unusual movement about, so to say, mad or lunatic people, they should let the security agencies know on time before they carry out their activities.
The Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps, says its ongoing 24 hours patrol of the state will continue while also relying on intelligence from members of the public. From Amotekun's headquarters here in Akure, Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
In the meantime, security forces in Ondo State are intensifying efforts at unraveling the shooting incident in Owo, which allegedly claimed 3 lives. Police Public Relations Officer Fumilayo Odulami Omisanya said details of the incident are still sketchy.
Well, let me say this, there was no official report of assault and we never heard of any cult clash in Owo. However, yesterday night, on a social media group, someone said they've been hearing about killings in Owo, especially relating to cult, but with no other information. The GPO and his men moved around yesterday night, went on patrol and asked around if there was any issue. Everybody kept on claiming they didn't hear anything or see anything. But we keep telling our people, when you see something.
Meantime, Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, Adetunji Adeleye, restated government's commitment to securing lives and property of Ondo State residents.
And the police is even moving out to ask questions. We need help. Up to this moment, as I'm speaking to you, we've not seen any cops, we've not seen anybody. So we can actually confirm if there is an issue like that.
The public were advised to always avail security agencies with requisite information so as to track down crime while it bursts. Ondo State government will not condone any traffic violation that would affect the safety of commuters. The government's official special task force, led by Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Special Duties and Strategies, Dr. Dunyi Odebowale, said impatience of taxi drivers on the roads and other negligence acts endanger the lives of residents. Osrc reporter Joy Pius has details.
A man aboard a motorcycle was reportedly knocked down by a moving truck on Tuesday, the 9th of May. According to eyewitnesses' accounts, the carelessness of a commercial driver and passenger alighting from the taxi led to the victim's untimely death.
There's one taxi that parked here yesterday, and the taxi want to open the door. When the bike is passing, the bike want to dodge the vehicle, and now there are 2 bikes. The second one now push the second one to that trailer. That's how the incident. That woman now fall under that trailer. That's how the trailer mashed that woman off.
Tàtí ẹ̀ pàṣẹ síwájú mi. Bàtí tàtí ẹ̀ máa fi sílẹ̀kùn. Machine ọlọ́kadà yẹn ti kan ilẹ̀kùn tàìsí. Ó yìí tiẹ̀, so bó ṣe máa yìí tiẹ̀. Ọwọ́ tó máa já. Ẹni tó dẹ̀ gbé sí ẹ̀yìn, ẹni ẹgbẹ́rù. Ó kó polybag sí kàtà. Polybag àti ìsàtò mẹ́ta àbí mẹ́rin tó gbé sí tán. So tọ́jú pé kò gbé nǹkan ni. Àrí ọlọ́kadà dìmú apábílẹ̀ kó fọ́ọ̀ sí wà lọ fọ́ọ̀ sí abẹ́ tírélà yẹn so bí tírélà yẹn ṣe mú bí yẹn bó ṣe kú nìyẹn oní tírélà gbọ́ tó wá mọ̀.
To avert a reoccurrence, the governor's special task force were on Oba Adeshida Road to ensure compliance of commercial drivers to lay down traffic rules and regulations. This route was designed to decongest traffic occasioned by taxi drivers' disorderly conveyance of passengers. Many of the cab drivers who failed to ply the routes provided for them were apprehended. The Senior Special Assistant to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Dunyi Odebowale, condemned the attitude of commercial drivers to proper parking when picking and dropping passengers, adding that many have died as a result of their recklessness. Odebowale assured residents that the Special Task Force will not rest on its oars, calling on all officials in charge of road safety to wake up to their responsibilities.
this, because there is this attitude that you see, which seems to suggest that nobody, respects the other person concerning the way the road is used. You find people parking indiscriminately on the road. They just park. Then the taxi drivers believe that they can stop at any point, regardless of whoever is coming behind them or whoever is in front. They can drop their passengers at any. And they're not continuing to be losing people like this. It's unacceptable. It cannot. So what we want to do on our part, and I believe that the police formations we have in the state will also be alive to their responsibility to want the police to come out. When the traffic wardens should control traffic and not be after arresting Okada and collecting money from Okada riders. They are going to receive that.
Condemnation also greeted the impatience of taxi drivers desperate to maximize returns.
Why go to the back? Láàrin títí ti di passenger tó bá ti sọ pé ó ti dà ibẹ̀ náà láti tẹ bírèkì tó bẹ̀ sílẹ̀kùn. Then tí àwọn passenger náà ní pé nígbà míì wọn ò tẹ̀ ní sọ fún driver pé kó bá wọn wẹ̀yìn.
Ó yẹ kó lè máa sọ fún kó máa pààkì mọ́lẹ̀ dáadáa kó tó máa já passenger.
Some plate numbers retrieved from defaulting drivers were later handed back to them with a stern warning to desist from the act. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
No fewer than 20 newborn have benefited from gifts from the Red Cross Society of Nigeria Ondo State chapter. The move is part of activities lined up to mark this year's Founders Day and to seek humanitarian assistance for the needy. Osrc's Omoshilola Adesoya Ajayi now reports.
Every 8th day in the month of May is set aside to celebrate the birth of the founder of Red Cross Society, to honor her and the history of the society. And as part of activities to mark this year's Founders Day, the members of the society in Ondo State visited the State Specialist Hospital Akure, formerly Mother and Child Hospital, to distribute gift items to newborns. According to Branch Secretary of the Red Cross Society of Nigeria in Ondo State, Mr. Oshonawa Rashid, the mission of the society is to alleviate the situation of vulnerable people, including victims of disaster, epidemics, among others.
So we always have a program to do to celebrate the birth of our founder. So either making a special donation to the needy or to the newborn babies, or we create a project so as a landmark for that particular year. So that of this year, so we've decided to come to Mothers and Child Hospital to make donations to the newly born babies.
While calling on well-meaning individuals to support the society in our efforts to put smiles on the faces of the downtrodden, Mr. Oshonawa said the society will continue to comfort the needy.
We make it like a double hand. So we presented gifts to the newly born babies. Then we also use the avenue to raise fund for our own orphanage and vulnerable children's home situated at Ilaoluchi Okegbo. So we are expecting the project to kick off any moment from now. So while we are still waiting for funding.
In an interview, the matron of the hospital, Mrs. Akimbade, who appreciated the Red Cross Society of Nigeria for the gesture, also called for more support to the hospital.
I want to appreciate the Red Cross Society. They came to State Specialist Hospital Akure, formerly Mother and Child Hospital, and they gave up to about items of to over 14 people. Our newborns, they gave Pampers, they gave soap and others. We want to use this opportunity to appreciate them, and as Oliver Twist, we want to ask for more. So by this time next year, we still expect more from them.
Some of the beneficiaries thanked the society for the gift, which they said will go a long way to assist them.
I'm so grateful because I'm not expecting this until I get to know that they delivered this gift to us. I'm so grateful to you. And I pray that God will continue to strengthen your life.
Some of the gift items distributed include diapers, baby soaps and clothes, as well as toiletries. Omoshiliola Adesoya Ajayi, Osrc News.
The Presidential Election Petition Court has adjourned to Thursday, the 18th, in continuation of the pre-hearing of the petition by the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, against the president-elect Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress. In the petition, the PDP and Atiku are challenging the declaration of Tinubu as the president-elect by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The former vice president is at the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja. The pre-hearing of the petition was taken first today after counsel for Atiku and PDP, Chris Uche, indicated an interest in the matter. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has traveled to Europe for a working visit. During the visit, Tinubu will engage with investors and other key allies with the goal of marketing investment opportunities in the country and his administration's readiness to enable a business-friendly climate through policies and regulations. The president-elect is scheduled to return shortly for preparations towards his official swearing-in as the 16th president of the country on Monday, May 29. President Muhammadu Buhari is still in London for an additional week at the behest of his dentist, who has begun to attend to him. The specialist requires to see the president in another 5 days for a procedure already commenced. Buhari had joined other world leaders to attend the coronation of King Charles III last weekend. At the rendezvous, Buhari described Nigeria's democracy as maturing, expressing satisfaction with the conduct of the 2023 general elections, which he noted has left lessons to be learnt to better subsequent polls. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to approve a fresh loan request of $800 billion from the World Bank, despite the public outcry that has greeted the move. The World Bank facility, government said, is aimed at providing succor to the poorest of the poor upon removal of the petrol subsidy that is slated to come into force 2 days after Buhari's exit. Buhari, in a letter read by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan at the plenary session, requested the Senate to approve the facility, which he said would be utilized to scale up the National Social Safety Net program. The President stated that the funds, when approved, will be sent to the bank accounts of the identified beneficiaries. The President told the lawmakers that the Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved a request to obtain the loan, noting that he was waiting for the approval of the Senate before going ahead with processing the loan. The economic community of West African states has urged investment in conflict prevention in member states as it pulled its overall estimated cost at over $2.6 billion. President of ECOWAS Commission, Omar Touare, made the call in his address on the status of implementation of the community work programs at the ongoing first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja. Dr. Touare said deploying the ECOWAS standby force to fight against terrorism and unconstitutional changes of government in the region had expensive options. The President also said the Commission was working with the National Commissions on Small Arms in the region's effort to tackle the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. More than 5,500 people are still unaccounted for in an area in East Democratic of Congo where floods killed more than 400 people last week. Scores of bodies have been recovered from the villages of Bushushu and Miakubi in South Kivu Province, Kalele Territory, since torrential rain caused landslides and flash floods, flattening buildings and sweeping away crops. Akintunde Akinshimola has details.
5 days after floods brought devastation to this village in Democratic Republic of Congo, and survivor Paul Serushago is still searching for members of his family.
They lived in the wooden annex in front here, but given that we haven't found them, we think they might be in my father's home.
More than 5,500 people remain missing in this remote mountainous area of South Kivu province. The floods tore through the riverside villages of Nyamakubi and Bushushi, flattening homes, destroying crops, and killing more than 400 people. Government officials have brought blankets, food, and a few caskets to Nyamakubi. They also donated money to affected families and a local clinic. But the delegation did not visit Bushushu, where the death toll is believed to be higher.
This resident, Shamavu Sabajonge, said though the amount of food given was small, it was appreciated because they didn't know what they were going to eat.
This resident, Shamavu Sabajonge, said though the amount of food given was small, it was appreciated because they did not know what they were going to eat. Congo's deadliest natural disaster in recent memory has highlighted the vulnerability of people to climate change in many parts of Africa. Poor urban planning and weak infrastructure means many communities cannot withstand increasing bouts of extreme weather. The Red Cross believes Congo's floods have left 8,000 people in need of assistance. But aid efforts have been hampered by lack of access and resources. In the Nyamakubi, the homeless are packed into a few buildings left intact. Outside, the swollen river flows past entire neighborhoods that have been flattened by boulders as the smell of dead bodies rises from the earth. Akintunde Akinshimola for Osrc News.
Israel says Palestinian militants in Gaza have fired more than 460 rockets at it, and that its military has hit over 130 militant targets in Gaza in the heaviest fighting in 9 months. 6 people were killed and 45 injured in Gaza. Several were hurt rushing to shelters in Israel, where most rockets have been intercepted or fell in open areas. The assault comes a day after 15 Palestinians were killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza, including 3 Islamic Jihad leaders. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has pleaded not guilty to corruption charges a day after his arrest sparked nationwide protests. 8 people have died nationwide in the protests, and about 1,000. The army is being deployed in some areas and has issued a stern warning after crowds attacked his properties. Mr. Khan's arrest dramatically escalated tensions between Mr. Khan and the military at a time of economic crisis. Conviction would disqualify the former cricket star from standing for office during elections later this year. A day before a pandemic-era rule that was used to swiftly expel migrants as the U.S. southern border is set to expire, Alejandro Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Secretary, has warned migrants against crossing illegally into the United States. Mr. Mayorkas' last-ditch warning came as officials brace for a new influx of tens of thousands of migrants once Title 42, a Trump-era policy in place since March 2020, lifts on Thursday.
Tomorrow, May 11th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, the Title 42 public health order will terminate. At that point, we will once again process people at our southern border using our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code. Let me be clear. The lifting of the Title 42 public health order does not mean our border is open. In fact, it is the contrary. Our use of our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code for consequences for people who cross the border illegally. We are making it very clear that our border is not open, that crossing irregularly is against the law, and that those who are not eligible for relief will be quickly returned. Today, alongside the Department of Justice, we are finalizing a new rule to encourage individuals to use available, lawful, safe, and orderly pathways to enter the United States.
On Tuesday, border officials apprehended more than 11,000 migrants who have crossed illegally, an increase of over 7,000 to 8,000 crossings a day last week. And from the sporting world, Sunshine Stars Football Club of Akure have qualified for the next round of the Federation Cup after posting a 2-0 win over Standard Football Club of Kaduna at the Confluence Stadium in Lokoja. Michael Olashi's volley in the 13 minutes of pass from Vincent Timitope proved to be the much-needed curtain raiser for the Akure-based side. Olalusi made it 2 when he slotted in with 30 minutes left. Captain Ejike Uzoechi replaced the fulfilled brace scorer in the nick of 90 minutes. Sunshine Stars will in the round of 16 play EFCC Abuja, who eliminated Akwa United on penalties. And that sports news concludes Word at Noon. Thanks so much for watching. Good afternoon.